Hello, and welcome to She Leads Biotech, the podcast that celebrates women leaders in the bioscience space. I'm your host, Sharron Cox, CEO and Managing Director of CNA International, based right here in New York. And each week I'll be talking to women leaders about their work, their triumphs and challenges, providing invaluable insight into how women can unlock their superpowers and succeed on their own terms. So whether you're navigating your own career path in bioscience or you're passionate about science and innovation, I hope you're empowered and inspired by each episode. From her early fascination with science in her father's lab to a PhD in pharmacy and medicinal chemistry, today's guest has spent over 15 years designing and developing oncology drugs. Her work bridges hands-on molecule synthesis with advanced computational tools and AI, bringing precision and speed to the way therapies are discovered and optimized. She's passionate about harnessing AI, not as a magic switch, but as a powerful tool to accelerate discovery and make smarter decisions in drug development. Her journey is also one of adaptability, learning to wear multiple hats in a startup environment. Just don't ask her to plan too far ahead, because she's enjoying the moment. Please welcome the Chief Technology Officer at Coiled Therapeutics, Chaemin Lim. Hey, Chaemin, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you very much. Where are we speaking from? Where are you?
I'm based in New York. Same as you.
Oh, we're neighbours. Yay! Are you actually in the city or are you just outside?
I'm actually in the city. Yeah. This is my home office too. So
Okay.
I'm working from home, but sometimes I go to some other offices in here and there, but mostly in New York.
Right, but you're actually in the city. I'm a little bit out. I'm on Long Island, so...
Yeah, I'm in Manhattan.
Yeah. Okay. Well, lovely to talk to you from across the bridge in Manhattan.
Yeah, talking for the same reason.
I know, right? So you've had an interesting career. I know you spent sort of 15 plus years in oncology drug discovery, but how did it start for you? Is it something you'd always wanted to do? Did you fall into it by accident? What set you off on this path?
I feel like it kind of like already set path. Like when I was young, when you put what you want to become and things like that, and I always put like a scientist.
Okay.
And I feel like that kind of influenced from my dad because he's also like a scientist and he's a professor in the polymer chemistry, also in chemistry field. So when you're young, there's some textbook experiments and things, and I have the like pretty good opportunity to just go to his lab and then actually do the simple experiment, like textbook experiment with him.
Okay.
And also bring my friends there. Kind of naturally just get familiarized all this like a lab equipments and how the science works and how the research works. So I got exposed to that when I was young. But also at the same time, I also liked all the other different things. So my parents were like letting me explore all the things like arts and music. But I think, yeah, maybe I don't have enough talent to that to make profession. Yeah, so that kind of forced me to stay in the science or the like a more of the study.
Yeah, whether you wanted to or not, this is where you need to stay because you're not going to be on the stage.
Exactly. So,
See, I was the complete opposite. That's all I ever wanted to do, was to be on the stage and sing and dance. But life took other paths, and so I ended up in recruitment. And
I see.
That's the closest I could get to acting whilst being paid for it. That's what I've always said.
But you can still do that as
I could. Yeah, I can go and stand outside on Broadway and sing along. You never know, do you? You never know.
Yeah, exactly.
So what did you study? What was your studying in?
So I mean, for the path, what kind of like the specialty that I want to go in was like a chemistry. Of course, I got influenced from my family, and also when you go in and if you are in Asia and you want to have some like a profession that comes with license and etc. So like maybe doctor if you're in the scientific field. I already know that like, during my high school, I really didn't enjoy all this like the animal and life subject experiments.
Right.
So And also, like, I didn't like the blood. So I wanted to be in more like a basic life science field, but also at the same time, like a pharmacy kind of like a comes through like in a natural way. So it kind of fulfills my parents' needs as well as my needs. So like this, you know what I mean? So we kind of find the mutual like agreement. And
Right.
I actually did enjoy the pharmacy school a lot because you get to expose a lot of like a different aspects, not just the chemistry or biology, but you cover all those kind of multidisciplinary like experiments, pharmacology, immunology, and also the chemistry and the basic science, and it kind of covers all different aspects. So I really enjoyed that. And also with just the bachelor degree it's in studying in pharmacy, kind of naturally grow this like a curiosity about the new drug development. And I think I did fell in love on that subject. So it kind of the future path is like, okay, I don't want to be sitting in the pharmacy and then like dispensing the drug, but I also want to be someone who can actually develop the new drug. So that made me to decide to go to the grad school. And in grad school, of course, the decision of the specific field was naturally comes with the between pharmacology, biology, that comes with a lot of like, animal studies and etc. Versus you can just like, handle the chemicals.
Right.
So that's one of the reasons I just go to organic medicinal chemistry. And then I did enjoy the idea of that I can make and design, inventing the drug.
Right.
And yeah, in the specific field and things. So naturally I just go through the path. What's like pros and cons? And then I just like decided to the path that makes more sense to me.
Right. So you did your PhD in pharmacy, right? And then you went on and did medicinal chemistry.
Mm-hmm.
So does that make you a scientist?
So I was lab scientist and actually doing hands-on experiments and then making molecules in the lab, and that was my PhD. But even during my PhD, I started off from like a total synthesis. So it's like a heavily organic synthesis and methodology development. It's like also like a meta related, like a basic, like a chemistry, organic chemistry. And then mid stage of my PhD, I get into more like a medicinal chemistry. So I exposed to this combinatorial chemistry, library generation, and with that, you get to evaluate those molecules, whether it's active for this target or that target or this indication. So the indication-based or target-based research was started around my mid stage of the PhD. So that's when I get exposed to a lot of computational tools because as medicinal chemist, that was the time that a lot of computational tools and so-called AI and machine learning, like a basic tools that you could use as a chemist.
Right.
So come up with the right molecule, like a rationally designed molecule, utilizing this like a docking simulation or all this kind of computational tools. So I get exposed to those kind of aspects. And I mean, during the course, it's already more than like 15 or 20 years ago. But at the time, we didn't really have those kind of tools. But my PI has very open-minded, and he also likes to explore a lot of different like aspects. We were medicinal chemists at the chemistry lab, but we actually had the cell biochemical assay system, so we can actually do the drug development in the lab.
Right.
So it's very much streamlined about from the concept to the synthesis and evaluation. So that streamline has been already established in our lab. But one of the things that I convinced to my PI to adopt is the computational program. So our department, our group was actually one of the group that we like installed and make the computational room. So we did do the simulation and then we were able to just do the docking and as well as more like a quantum or like some extreme like a supercomputing like computational tools too. So with that background, my postdoc research is more like a dedicated on the medicinal chemistry research.
Right.
And also the one of the bigger project I was involved in was oncology development.
Yep.
So Chemical Biology Consortium is kind of like a big consortium under like NIH or like a government, and we have a lot of collaborators across the country inside of the US and also outside of the US. And then we were able to actually just do the kind of industry level, like a drug discovery platform. And the work has been done. And I was involved in both synthetic chemists, so I would actually just make the molecule in the lab.
Right.
But also the half of the time I was sitting in the computer and then doing the simulation and to come up with the simulation data and then apply that to how to prioritize what kind of molecule we want to make and what kind of like properties or toxicities this molecule will have. So I was supporting both of the roles during my postdoc.
A brief interruption for a quick shout out to our sponsor Facilitate, the team behind Advanced Therapies Week. If you've never been, it's the gathering for the global cell and gene therapy community, happening February 9th through 12th in San Diego. Over 2,000 leaders come together for real conversations, new ideas, and the kind of connections that actually move the industry forward. And this year, one of the standout parts is the Women in Advanced Therapies Congress, a space built to connect and uplift women and allies across biotech, science, investment, and strategy. It's always full of honest stories, strong voices, and real community. You can grab your ticket at facilitate.com/Advanced Therapies Week. And if you use the code She Leads 20, you'll get 20% off. That's SHELEADS 20. And I'm going to be there. So come and find me and say hello. So did you kind of have a foot in both camps, so to speak?
Yeah, so to speak. So yeah, a lot of like a different experience. I think that kind of helped me to just moving into the industry and then my current job.
Right.
So, yeah.
So it was an easy. I've spoken to people before who've gone, from sort of bench to into industry, and it's had to be a very conscious decision to do, and it's generally come from them realizing that their personality is such that I can't wait for something to maybe be discovered, that I can't keep doing this every day waiting for that, so that there's that transition. It seems as if yours was kind of already you were already exploring both areas before, so it wasn't as big a conscious decision to sort of sidle away from the bench into industry.
Yeah, I think so. And also if you are in like a drug development and medicinal chemistry and you are designing drug, and that will eventually have to translate to the industry level of the execution.
Yeah.
So it felt more sense that I stay in the industry and then go actual like a development path versus like either stay in the academia. But for me, I like to make the molecule and design the molecules, and then I want them to be successful, like going through like a preclinical, clinical, and then also eventually get approved. So I think that's every medicinal chemist dream.
Right.
So I was also like one of them. So to make that happen, it makes sense for me to just move and do the industry work. And that's actually one of the reasons I decided to stay in the US. And I had no plan to stay here. And also I'm kind of the person that I don't put all these future plans, like how do you see in your
what's your 5-year plan?
I mean, I don't know.
Let me just get through tomorrow.
So all this like a future or my decision comes to the point that, okay, present moment, I want to do this. Then, okay, it makes sense that I just go grad school and postdoc, and then, maybe I'll look for a job,
So you did your postdoc you did in Pittsburgh, right?
Yes.
Okay. And how did doing that, because that's where you got your sort of transition from academia to industry. And how did those experiences influence those kind of your problem solving approach to medicine? What was that like?
So, I mean, honestly, I feel like I've been doing the same thing from the PhD and postdoc and the job. And the reason is that, I mean, you also mentioned that it's also kind of like hard to, for individuals, it's hard to translate to from this role and that role.
Oh.
But at the same time, I was exposed to a lot of different projects during my PhD. So, but that was one of my, like, I complain about that to my PI during the coursework, because there are people who has like a really big fancy project just for themselves, but I'm always the one just doing this. But one time that he kind of mentioned that, I mean, there are people who can do those kind of big things, just like focused on that. But there are also another people who can actually handle all different things
Right.
and still like do the good job.
Yeah.
And he said like I'm one of them.
Right.
So I was like synthesizing also like during the lab. I was like writing the patent and grant, and all the grant project was a lot of different projects. We had like a lipid based like a nanoparticle or like a polymer, and also like a synthesis of those like, natural molecules, and also finding a new molecule that's like having some inflammatory or autoimmune disease, and all those like, different projects, and also like very target specific project too, and which involves computational tools and some other like soft skills beyond the chemical synthesis. So that experience kind of helped me to get the postdoc job,
Yeah.
which is kind of related to those kind of drug development discovery work, by utilizing a lot of different skills. And then the industry job is kind of like related to that. So we do have the platform that designs the molecule, and our like our internal platform is more like a de novo chemistry design tools, and it kind of has a lot of different AI and machine learning workflow that I can also develop, and that translates to my previous experience, as well as the executing those things has been already like established during PhD and postdoc too, while having a lot of collaborators in the biology lab. And then we also have some like other like industry level collaborators. So we would synthesize the molecule and then send them out to the evaluation group.
Right.
And then whole cycle is the kind of industry schedules. Every 2 weeks, we have to submit the molecule, and then the next week we will have the result, and then based on that, we will synthesize more molecule, and then using that information. That kind of cycle is a lot similar to the industry, how it works. So I got exposed to that. So luckily,
So you were kind of almost ready for it when it came.
I feel like the transition was very smooth.
Right.
Yeah, luckily.
And you're a kind of Jackie of all trades, as we say in the UK. You cover all of. I mean, the end part of that is Jack of all trades and master of none. But I'm pretty sure that you've mastered quite a number of them. But you've got that kind of diversity of
Yes.
experience, that whole range of different areas, which means that you can be valuable in all these different departments and add value and see the product thing through from beginning to end, right?
Yeah, exactly. I think that kind of like helped me to just like familiarize like all the different aspects. But of course, maybe I have many soft skills for the entire process, but also I do have like a lot of people who has like hard skills for the specific areas. So I get help from them too.
Yeah, let's give a shout out to all the other people who do their bit, so we don't leave them behind. So, what was your first job in industry? Was it with A2A?
With A2A, yeah. That's my first industry job, like a real industry job, I have to say.
Okay. And now you've transitioned from there into, is it a spin-off of A?
Yeah, it's like a spin-off of the A2A. So let's say like A2A is kind of like a parent holding company, and then
Right.
we're trying to just like shaping the parent company as like the big herb. And then the Coiled Therapeutics is actually the second spin-out from A2A. So we already have the experience that having like a spin-out another company for the specific asset. And then this new one is for the target that's already in clinic. And we develop from the discovery stage to all the way down to the clinical. And then now is the time to just have this this program have like a separate like arm, and we can do like a further development as well as to get some the extra funding for a specific program for
Okay.
this program. Yeah.
And all of this is in the oncology field?
Yeah, for now, yeah, it's oncology field, but we are also like trying to expand it to other modalities and other disease areas. And in the past, we did have some other indications like Duchenne muscular dystrophy or like infectious disease or like in immunology aspects. But I mean, we also have to be very cautious about the budget and funding situation.
Of course, yeah, all that money thing that we have to pay attention to. What's that all about? I know. So you're the Chief Technology Officer at Coiled
Mm-hmm.
Therapeutics, yeah?
Yes.
So I've always wanted to know, I don't really know what a Chief Technology Officer does, but
Mm-hmm.
from what you're telling me is very
Mm-hmm.
involved in, I guess, what it says on the tin, the technology,
Mm-hmm.
and a big emphasis that is on the AI side. What would you, in your experience with this, what really excites you about AI's potential in oncology and particularly in precision medicine?
Mm-hmm.
What gets you going, oh yeah, this is going to be amazing,
I mean,
apart from
it's
everything?
helpful. Yeah, it's helpful. It's not gonna just like be like the one switch click and then you'll just get the drug.
Right.
But it's not like that. It's not like a black box. But if you know what you are dealing with, and if you know what the question that you want to solve, and then if you have the right data set to feed that information and then make the output more like a fruitful, then it's certainly helpful. So what we think the AI is like, it's like one of the tools that
Right.
guide you to accelerate the age of the process. It can be the discovery stage or even just finding a right target, or it can be like a discovery to development stage and to help you guide to select what candidate you have to prioritize. And then if it comes down to clinical and how you just prioritize the patient population based on the target or the pathway that you are going for. So it's kind of a breakdown question. So each step you would need like the right like a data set to fit into, and it will certainly help. So for us, what we heavily use on the AI and machine learning part was because our company was like a chemistry focused. So we utilized those tools like in terms of like a chemistry data set. So we would collect the right data set to put into the system and to come up with the questions that we want to answer. If it's like the new chemical entities, then we would just go to the drawing board and then come up with the right like a shape or size and the 3D features to fit into the system. Or if it's like a drug-like properties, then we will just add some of the drug properties that we want to just like optimize and use those kind of data set to come up with the right answer. So it's certainly helpful, but you just have to use it wisely. And
It's only as good as the data that's going into it, I guess, right?
yeah.
It's okay. All right. And what do you see as the challenges
Mhm.
or mainly the misconceptions around AI in drug discovery?
I mean, there has been hype on AI, but also we have a lot of development going on, and it's very hot topic and very competitive field. And there's a lot of like innovation is going on, and a lot of like biotech companies are focusing on the specific areas, and especially their algorithms, how they utilize this like a hardware versus like a software. So we are getting there. And then there's also like using like a ChatGPT and like all the other AI tools, but there's still a little bit of gap because the word like the models that uses like large language model, but the language itself we are using in our field is a little bit different.
Yeah.
So the machine has to learn more of the chemistry language and to come up with the right answer. Like we are using the ChatGPT like day by day.
Like me, I do it every day. Just trying to, but now I'm arguing with it because it's giving me stuff back in my voice, and I'm like, I don't sound like I'm not. That's
Right.
not my voice, surely. Not my spoken voice, but
Mhm.
how I didn't realize how some of the things that how I say them until
Mhm.
it's delivered back to you as how you would say it, and you go, yeah, okay.
I mean, it's kind of scary to just imagine that the computer can mimic your like a lips and how you speak
I
and
know.
different languages, and then so it's a little bit scary. But in terms of using as a research tool, of course, there's has been a lot of innovations happen, and I'm probably just not following all this like recent trends. So I should catch up with that.
Well, but that's the thing, isn't it? It's like trying to catch up.
Mhm.
It's all constantly playing catch up. It's a bit like,
Yeah,
flying the plane and building it at the same time, because
exactly.
it's
Yeah.
changing so much.
Right. And then, I mean, there's like a lot of papers, like a very nice researches, and then the tools that come up, and then sometimes the level, it's like a very premature to just use it for the actual project. So you just have to pick and choose and maybe just think how you can adapt for a specific areas. And that's the part that you individuals or individual companies have to think about
Okay.
it.
All right. So looking at kind of the future for you, because obviously you're very busy with Coiled Therapeutics, and that's obviously got a long way to go. I'm not going to ask you about your 5-year plan, because obviously you won't tell me anyway. Like to get your philosophy, and it's one of the topics that we do discuss quite a bit in the show, on leadership, particularly in the area of bridging science and that kind of business strategy, and being a leader in bringing both of those together. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I mean, for the leadership and then the just like a full picture, and I mean, I also learned a lot from our team, and we actually have like a very like a different background as a team. We are a very small team, so one has like an MD, and then one has like a more heavy biology and that business analytics, and also like a finance background. Individual have to just play the role, but also at the same time, we just have to wear multiple different hats. So from the beginning, I remember the first year of my job, and then I was just too scientific in the investor pitch. But later, I just get the sense about how like all these investors who might not have the heavy scientific background, but they want to understand what we're doing. So how you pitch to the individual audience, you kind of learn the language and how to articulate it right away, and also all this like a strategies behind like what kind of like a program we have to prioritize and things. So you just have to have the like a full picture with the team and then execute it with the right way. Especially when you're a startup, all those kind of dynamics are important. And also, I mean, at the same time, when it comes down to my cup of tea, like chemistry or how you just execute this scientific plan with all this like flows and come up with the best candidate with minimum budget or like a shortened timeline. So if it comes down to that, you actually have to like engage a lot of like people, not just the internal team, but also like CROs, and we do have the full-time equivalent people, and then managing them is also kind of the specific role for us. So like if we have the 4 chemistry in this group, and you also have to micromanage what kind of steps they make and the progress they are making, and also like if there's like a biology activities, then you also have to just look into that and then keep checking with them and how the progress goes and what kind of like a small things that you have to do. So there's like a different aspect. If you are in the big company, maybe there will be like an internal group of the scientists.
It's all kind of pre-planned out, isn't it, really, in a bigger company? And I imagine that each team member and their particular strength is then what makes up the success of the whole team.
Oh yeah, of course. So, we just kind of like help each other, and then just like discuss that will lead us to the right path, and then making progress each day. And also a lot of the business strategy comes with the people who has the expertise in that, and I'm also learning from them.
Cool. Excellent. Okay. So what key advice would you have for women in particular who are aspiring to leadership roles in bio? What would your advice to them be?
I mean, I think you just have to know what you want to do, but it doesn't necessarily mean that with the scientific background you can go to this area, that area. But I think I would encourage them to just meet a lot of like a diverse group of people,
Yep.
and maybe there will be people who has like a very distinctive like a profession with a similar background with them. So
Yep.
talking to them will just help you shape your idea and what kind of things you eventually want to do. And for me, I actually love what I do, and I like to stay in this field, but it can be some other different roles, and it can be like a different modality, or it can be like a different disease areas. But fundamentally, I'm enjoying the drug development,
Right.
the aspect as well. I sometimes want to call me as a designer because I'm designing drugs. So it sounds cool, right?
That does say that, yes, and I'm designing this. It's almost like being a dress designer or something.
Yeah, I'm actually in design field, you know.
Yes. Yeah, that's a nice opening line at dinner parties.
Yeah, exactly.
Until you then talk about what it is you're designing. Although it's fascinating, the designing drug aspect of it is,
Yeah,
for me, what it conjures up when you say, designing drugs is like a tablet. Should it be round, or should it be oblong, or should it be square?
yeah. I mean, that's the part of the design, right?
And I guess how you deliver the drug, that's part of the design, right? I'm being schooled now because I'm not an expert in drug, but some things, it may be more effective as a pill, or it may be more effective as a patch, or as a vaccine, or as something that you wear like a device. So it's once you've got the drug and you know the drug is viable, is finding the best, most effective way to get that to the patient.
Oh yeah, I mean the formulation is like a whole different area that you have to develop, and whether it's tablet or capsule or whatever like an oral like doses will be available, or they can make the maximum effect for the patient. And also depending on the modality, if it's like a biologics, then there will be a whole different type of formulation and then delivery system. So that's like a huge subject.
Wow. So it's fascinating. I mean, I know you don't want to talk too far in the future, but it seems as if with what's going on at the moment, the future's kind of mapped out with what's going to keep you busy in developing and evolving these treatments to effectively save lives, right? Which is why you guys do what it is you do.
Yeah, for sure. And then it's actually a very exciting moment that our pipeline is now made to the phase 1, and our pill is actually treating patient, and then we are expecting to have like a very promising result. So it's very exciting time, and then very glad to be in this journey with the team.
Yeah.
Hope that
Yeah,
we
it's a
see.
great time once you actually get the drug into patients. And then the data's good, and then it's like, okay, we're going to do phase 2 now, and now we can actually start planning out of the commercialization side of it. It's all exciting stuff, exciting times ahead.
Maybe as a size of our company, we wish that somebody will take it over. We don't have to worry about the commercializing, but we will see about it. And then we can repeat the same thing with other pipeline and the product too.
Okay.
So,
well, if you tend to, if you decide to stick with it, then, I can certainly help you on the hiring of all the right people to get you through commercialization.
Yeah.
So that'll be a good move.
Yes.
Well, listen, Chaemin, thank you. I encroached on your day, and I really appreciate you taking the time out to spend some time with us today. It's been fascinating learning your journey and what you do. I've definitely been schooled in the area of drug design. I'm not going to be able to get that out of my head now. I'm going to have this image of drugs in designer dresses kind of around, but fascinating stuff. I wish you and Coiled Therapeutics continued success. I know there's some exciting things coming up, and I can't wait to hear more about them. And I wish you personally every success in the future.
Thank you so much, and thanks for having me. And then I love what you do, and then
Thank you.
hopefully it kind of helps all the other females in the field and shaping their futures.
Absolutely. Well, have a fabulous weekend, and hopefully our paths will cross next time I'm in Manhattan.
Yeah, that sounds good.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, that's it for today's episode. Thank you so much for listening. She Leads Biotech is brought to you by CNA International USA, a woman-owned boutique search firm based in New York. If you're looking to hire talent for your company or want support in achieving your career goals, please reach out to me at contact@cnaint.com. I hope you enjoyed this conversation. And remember, the success of every woman should be an inspiration to another. So don't be afraid to share yours. Thanks again for listening. Until next time.